Nickel Boys. I have finally seen Nickel Boys. It's been released a little bit wider now, and I had the chance to see it yesterday. And oh boy, what a movie this is! This is a staggering piece of work right here. This is directed by Ramel Ross. He was also a co-writer on it, along with Jocelyn Barnes. It stars Ethan Harris, I believe is how you pronounce it, Harris, and Brandon Wilson and Anjanou Ellis Taylor. If you're not familiar with Nickel Boys, the script is based on a book called The Nickel Boys, which is based on a true story, based on a reform school in Florida that operated in the 1900s for, I think it was over 100 years. This school operated, and it eventually turned out that this was a highly abusive school where children would be abused sexually and even murdered. It turned out that they had discovered, unmarked graves on the school property, particularly to African American students. It's a very troubling movie throughout. It's not necessarily an easy watch, but at the same time, I have to give a lot of credit to Ramel Ross and the cinematographer. This is a beautifully shot movie. There's no doubt about that. This is a very unique movie. It follows two students, Elwood and Turner, who they meet at the school, and we basically just kind of stay with them throughout their whole journey of friendship and such. There's a very unique aspect of this movie in that it's shot strictly from the POV of both Elwood and Turner. So we are, and my POV, I mean, literally first person. The camera is their eyes throughout the whole movie. It starts out with Elwood, and then I thought the whole movie was going to be through Elwood's eyes, not a hardcore Henry situation, but basically, through almost that situation where the whole movie is through one character's eyes. And then when we switched to Turner's perspective a couple times, I realized what was happening, and then it even replayed the scene from a completely different perspective, and I was like, oh, this is something special. This is really good, and it's something special. When that scene, there's a scene in the cafeteria when they first meet, that gets played twice, and at that point I thought, oh, we have something here for sure. But I knew this was a good movie basically as soon as it opened. This is a beautifully shot movie. It looks really good. I think it captures the essence and the time period that it's going for, and the mood that you want to feel really well. There's a lot of really intricate and very good looking moments in this movie where characters are shuffling a deck of cards or looking at kind of holding fruit in their hand, and it's just like you can tell the care and detail that went into these kind of just scene setting shots specifically. It's really impressive stuff. I was not familiar with Ramel Ross. I believe he has a documentary that he won an Oscar for. I think he was nominated at least. But this guy clearly knows what he's doing. This is a fantastic movie. The POV stuff is interesting. It can come across, I should say, because it didn't. When you do something as interesting as that, it could come across as gimmicky, I guess. Like Hardcore Henry was touted as this first of a kind, POV action movie. And that was very much a gimmick. It didn't really add anything. It just was like, hey, this is cool, let's do it. But the first person camera shots throughout this whole movie are very, very deliberate and intentional. And it's kind of easy to see why, because one character, Elwood, who we start the movie with, he is very much innocent. He believes in the system, I guess. He's naive, is the way to put it. He believes this movie takes place during Jim Crow laws and stuff, and Elwood believes in the system. Basically, he believes that if you are a good person and you serve your time correctly and you help your neighbors and so on and so forth, that you will be rewarded. you will have good things in life, and the systemic racism is not necessarily an issue. And then there's Turner, on the other hand, who we meet later on, who is just the exact opposite, believes it's systemic racism. It doesn't matter what you do. You will always be looked down upon as an African-American man in the United States during this time period. And neither of them are wrong and neither of them are right. And the reason that we can draw that conclusion is because of the different points of view that we get throughout different scenes. We are looking at different scenes through their eyes, so we are able to interpret both of their understandings of the world really, really well. Things happen to these characters through the eyes of Elwood, and you look at it and you say, oh, Elwood maybe is right, like he's doing the right thing here, and you hope he gets rewarded for it. Or you see it through his eyes and you think, oh man, I don't think he's right. Maybe this is all for nothing. And then you see things through Turner's eyes and you're like, yeah, he's definitely right. I mean, look at we're seeing what he is seeing. This is very obviously something that, cannot just be solved by, turning the other cheek or pick yourself up by your bootstrap or whatever. Then you see, he makes a couple decisions throughout the movie where you're like, oh, I disagree with those decisions. Like, don't do that. That is just not going to solve anything. You're only putting yourself in more danger. And it's a very complex situation to kind of untangle, basically, where neither of these kids are right, neither of these kids are 100% wrong either. It's very nuanced, and the POV camera shots do a really good job of showing that the world isn't necessarily black and white, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. Aunjanue Ellis Taylor plays Elwood's mother in this. She's in about 5-6 scenes, maybe, I think. She's awesome in this. She just brings this aura of around her of just like a veteran actress presence that is on another level. I hope she gets an Oscar nomination for this. Supporting actress is probably the most loaded category this year, so it is going to be a tough fight for her. But the Nickel Boys cast and crew are making the rounds. They're pushing for some Oscar buzz here. So I would love to see this get a Best Picture nomination. I'd love to see a cinematography nomination, a couple acting noms maybe. Ellis Taylor, I think, is the favorite from all of these categories to at least get a nomination. Her character is awesome. I really love the way it's portrayed, where it seems as though on the surface that she is kind of also naive and innocent, I guess is the way to describe, but she is also highly, highly aware of the situation around her and going on in the country at the time. But she, as the guardian of Elwood, has to kind of just, push that stuff away and do her best to raise him and encourage him and tell him that, yeah, you can actually do whatever, anything you want if you set your mind to it and you work hard, because those are the type of things that you need to do as a parent or a guardian, where you cannot be so nihilistic, even though you might be hyper aware of these things. And I think it's really well portrayed. The happiness and sadness that she's able to display at the same exact time through scenes is a masterclass of acting. It's just phenomenal stuff. I don't know if she's my favorite performance in the movie. That might be Brandon Wilson, who plays Turner. I think his performance might be my favorite, but they're running him and her are running like 1 and 2 for me. And that's no slight on Ethan Harris. He's clearly also got the juice himself. The ending of this movie, I'm not going to try to spoil too much, but Elwood and Turner, they meet in this reform school. They go through trials and tribulations together. There's cutting forward to the future, to a grown-up Elwood who kind of throughout the movie is sporadically learning the news of the Nickel School, which it's called Nickel Boys Academy, I think is the name in the movie, or Nickel Academy. he's learning through like these little news segments online or on TV that yes, abuses did happen and they were caught, and now they're digging up unmarked graves of these former students that attended the school, and he is clearly struggling to deal with that. There is, I don't want to say there is like a plot twist at the end. That would be kind of, I wouldn't call it a twist. I would call it more of like a coming together of the main storyline, which is the two friends coming together through school, through the reform school, and then Elwood at present day, basically. Those two storylines kind of end up at a meeting point, I guess. And I wouldn't call it a twist, but it takes a turn that I wasn't expecting, but at the same time hit me really, really hard. I kind of went like, oh, in the theater when it happened, because it just wasn't something I saw coming, even though it kind of makes sense, and maybe it's not as surprising as for other people, but I'm an idiot, so I just like don't think about those. It just never entered my mind, and I think that's probably part of the point. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I don't want to spoil it. Go see Nickel Boys is the only thing I can say. This is it's a perfect movie. I don't know what to tell you. This was easily in my top 5 of the year. And I hope gets the recognition, gets the eyes on it that it deserves, because this thing is a masterclass of filmmaking. It really is. I can't stress it enough. And it honestly, I don't know. Apparently, The Nickel Boys is a pretty famous short story or novel, I think. I might read it because of this, and I'm not someone that will see a movie and then go, all right, well, I need to read the book now, I guess. But this movie is a masterpiece. It's staggering at times. It really takes your breath away, makes you think about a lot of different things, and really just staggering. Staggering is the word I would use to describe this movie. Is staggering. 5 stars. Yeah, it's great stuff. So please, if you have a chance, go see Nickel Boys in theaters. And that is my mainly spoiler-free review. And I guess I should start asking people to subscribe. So subscribe to my channel, I suppose. Whatever, I don't care. But that's it for my Nickel Boys review. I will see you in the next one, I suppose. Goodbye.